The ball is rolling. Things are happening. It's starting to take place. I told you. I told you. This is the part that we really want to get into right now. We got to get to the money. We got to get to the migrant crisis. We got to see what's happening in the streets. It's a lot happening. But before we do that, the judge unsealed the court documents from the divorce. Take a look.
All rise. Superior Court is now in session.
A big decision on Monday that could impact the Fulton County election indictment happening miles away in a Cobb County courtroom. The secretive case of Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade's divorce, secret no more. A judge ordering its unsealing, marking the first time the case has been made public since February of 2022.
There's very specific and stringent processes that the court must follow before a record is withheld from the public, and they were not followed in this case, Judge.
Attorney Ashley Merchant, who represents election indictment defendant Michael Roman, said the case was sealed without a public hearing, invalidating its secrecy. It was Roman's legal team who first floated the allegations of an improper relationship between Wade and his boss, District Attorney Fani Willis, earlier this month.
Hey, first of all, can we get a round of applause for the legal team? That's not even relevant to this specific case. And the reason why we give a round of applause is because we know that these attorneys' offices, they make their money based off of billable hours. Okay? It's billable hours that they make their money off of. But these attorneys are going above and beyond, and they making sure that they get every single crack and crevice uncovered in order to make sure that they working on behalf of their client. Yes, they are. And I've never personally ever, now I'm not an attorney, but I am familiar with the law. And I've never heard of, in my entire existence, a divorce proceeding being sealed in court. I've never heard it. Not one time have I ever. I see so many famous people go through a divorce, and the first way that the general public start to find out that they're having a divorce is they just go to the courts and they just go and see, and they see, wait, what's going on over here? What we got going on? Oh, what's a famous person that's filing for a divorce from their wife? Now, me personally, Anton from AntonDaniels.com, me personally, I believe that your divorce shouldn't be anybody else's business. I can't for the life of me understand why anybody should be able to access court documents when it comes to your personal divorce from your personal person. That makes no sense to me. It makes not a 1 ounce of a sense that I've never seen in my entire life. It makes no sense to me. Now, since this is a standard, though, we're not going to change the rules for Fani. No, we're not going to change the rules for Fani. We're going to keep the same standard that all of these other regular folk go through, and we're not going to prevent her from going out here and doing what she want to do when she want to do it just because it's convenient for her and she want to protect her image. No, we're not going to do that in Fulton County. No, sir. No, sir, are we going to do that in Fulton County. And the reason why this is so important for us to address is because this is tied to and promoted by and salacious content that's important to uncover exactly what the objective was for her filing all of these false charges and whether or not she's actually ethical and she should be the prosecuting district attorney. Because she's been telling lies the whole time and she's never ever answered the question and asked herself and answered to what the people are requesting of her, and that is, did you sleep with another man's, did you sleep with another woman's husband? Did you, Fani Willis, that works on the behalf of the people, sleep with another woman's husband that you then promoted, made sure that he got paid, and ensured his success because he was laying that BBC on you? But let's see what the courts had to say.
After urging from Willis's attorneys, a judge said he'll wait to hear Wade's deposition in the case before deciding if Willis has to comply with her own subpoena for her testimony in the divorce. Wade's bank statements, released on Friday, show the two traveled together to California and Florida while Wade was acting as special prosecutor. His wife's attorney outside of court said this wasn't an attempt to smear him or Willis or to tamper with the election indictment.
It wouldn't matter who she is and what position she holds. If she's having an affair with my client's husband and he's spending my client's money on that relationship, I'm going to find out about it. And it has...
Ooh, let me tell you something of what I learned about redheaded white women. Is that if you ever find yourself in a divorce proceeding and you feel like you in a rat and you got some money to burn, go get you a redheaded lawyer from down there in Fulton County, and they gonna make sure that they uncover every document that you possibly have hidden. They gonna do a forensic accounting of every dime that you spend. So if you got you a side hoe, make sure you get that side hoe and tell her no. Ain't nothing we can do as far as what it is that I gotta spend money on. I know you feel like tricking. I know you want to take her out of town. I know you want to go over to Ruth Chris. I know you want to go over Bahama Mama and to the Cheesecake Factory. But if you don't get you a red-headed white woman, listen, let me tell y'all something. Forget the accent. White women are bulldogs. They are monsters. They will go after everything. See, black women don't get it. Black women often at times, they'll say, and they'll talk, and they talking with their hands and their neck, and they gonna snatch your dreams out of the air, and they tutu for the one time, and they homegirl. White women, they put on that same act, and they say, you know, I love you. Oh, gosh. Tyrone, I can't believe you. I gave my whole life to you. And then they get them bulldogs on you because they come in for 30%, 50%, 75% of everything that they didn't earn. They coming for it all. They coming for it all. They use their femininity to get you in and they get you not to even give them a prenuptial agreement. And they coming. They coming for everything. Everything. 100% of everything that you got. So whether it was a black woman that he married or a white woman that she hired as a lawyer, she coming for everything. Everything, buddy.
Nothing to do, in my view, with her being the district attorney of Fulton County.
Apologies for the technical difficulties on the front end of that. We also want to state that the next hearing in this case will be on January 31st, so we're not that far away from it. Also, at the state capitol today, legislators there announced a new special investigations committee, and they say their first task will be looking into these alleged allegations of an improper relationship at the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. So lots more to go on this.
Let's deep dive a little bit more, ladies and gentlemen, because we truly have to understand what this red-headed white woman is doing over here to Nathan Wade and Fani Willis, okay? Listen, if you don't got you at least one white woman on your team, you losing. If you don't have you at least one, listen, you can have 30 black women, 20 black men, and 17 Somalians on your team. You need a strong, and when I say strong, I mean a strong white woman on your team. Because once they get over those... Oh, Susan, I love them. I love them. I wouldn't have done anything. I mean, I bent over. I put myself in a finger four-leg lock and let him put it in every single hole that he ever wanted to put it into. And if you want to make sure that you get some stuff done, you put that bulldog on him. I'm telling you right now, it's nothing stronger and nothing more fearless than a red-headed white woman that has nothing to lose. She will come for everything. Trust me.
Learn that Fulton County DA Fani Willis won't have to testify in the divorce case involving one of her top prosecutors. At least not for now. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us tonight for Fox 5 News at 5. I'm Tom Haynes.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Cobb County Superior Court Judge Henry Thompson put a halt to those efforts during a hearing that attracted national attention for what it might mean for the election interference case. Fox 5 IT reporter Randy Travis was in the courtroom and is here now to help us understand what all of this means. Randy.
Yeah, Courtney and Tom, even the DA's supporters see this as an unforced error, a needless distraction in her attempt to prosecute more than a dozen people for allegedly trying to steal Georgia's electoral college votes from Joe Biden in 2020. All of it connected to an alleged romantic relationship with Willis's top special prosecutor, Nathan Wade.
Charging 19 individuals with violations of Georgia law.
According to explosive court filings, on that historic August night when DA Fani Willis announced the indictments of Donald Trump and 18 others, she was already in a romantic relationship with the man to her left, Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, who was separated from his wife, Joycelyn. One of the defendants in the case, Michael Roman, accuses Willis of personally profiting from the relationship, paying Wade more than $650,000 for his work running point on the Trump case.
Now, before we really get into these documents, according to these news reports, how many people, and you don't have to say anything, it's a rhetorical question, how many of you people, because if this is not improper, I don't know what is. If this is not an ethics issue at the very core of what it is, the reason why they in this position, all of this stuff, the fact that he made over $650,000 that was paid to him on behalf of the taxpayers. See, remember, this is not your money. This is not private corporations' money. This is the taxpayers' money that's going to him. And now she stood on the church's steps in the pulpit and she said, listen, and it is my right to pay and pick whoever it is that I wanted to pay the exact same rate across the board. And then she leaned into the racism argument in order to justify her doing this bad business, right? But because you work for the people and it's for the taxpayers and it's coming out of the taxpayers' money, now we can use that information and we can go and, I don't know, file a Freedom of Information Act request and see exactly where the money is going and how it's going. And then you look at it and you say, wait a minute, you paid this guy $60,000, you paid that guy $80,000, and you paid Nathan Wade $653,881. What's going on, buddy? What's happening? And so if this is not improper, if this does not stink to the highest of the highs, I don't know what is. If he was giving you that BBC and then as a result he got $653,000 in that particular year for that particular case and nobody is concerned, I don't see a black woman anywhere. Anywhere. No woman has anything to say all of a sudden. Everybody is, when she was getting to it, and when she was prosecuting the young thug, it was you go, girl. You go, girl. I'm wondering personally, and this is just my own weird thoughts that's running in my head. I'm wondering personally if, considering that it's a possibility that it hasn't been proven, but it's a possibility, we're going to find out one way or another. Considering that it's a possibility, right? That the relationship was improper, meaning that he probably told her, hey, just let me put the tip in. All my fellas in here, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's like. Listen, hey, let me just put the tip in. Considering that this is a possibility, that it is alleged that she was sleeping with a still married man. Oh, you just want to prance in and not even say hi. Okay, I see you. I see you, baby girl. Considering that this may have been an improper relationship, is it a possibility that they both spent the money? I'm just asking. Is it a possibility that they both spent the money? Overpay one guy. We both going on vacation together. He all of a sudden just purchasing tickets to go over here to Aruba and Dubai or wherever it is that they went to. This isn't a genuine ethics issue. How do you give somebody $650,000 and then y'all both going on a trip together in which he's purchasing plane tickets for both of y'all on the taxpayer's dime? This isn't an issue. This isn't a red flag. This isn't something that we need to bring to the front of the congregation. We supposed to just forget about this and that's just the end of it? Okay, I get it. I get it.
While also vacationing with him in California and the Caribbean. Trips that his credit card statements indicate he paid for personally. Roman wants his indictment dismissed because of...
Let's back up for 1 second.
Indicate vacationing with him in California and the Caribbean.
Y'all was in the Caribbean. What was y'all talking about? The case? Y'all was working on the case in California and the Caribbean? Away from Fulton County? I ain't never took a trip with my boss. Not one. I ain't never took a trip with a female manager in my life. Not one. That was paid for on her person or on my personal credit card.
Trips that his credit card statements indicate he paid for personally. Roman wants his indictment dismissed because of a conflict of interest. Records show Willis has paid Wade $100 more per hour than another special prosecutor, John Floyd.
Wait a minute. I thought that she paid them all the exact same. Because listen, they're not saying, look, you paid this person an extra $100. They said you paid this person an extra $100 per hour, billable hours that ultimately come to the taxpayer. Again, look. This is y'all money that's being spent for them to go out there and frolic in the Caribbean and in California. This is y'all money. This is y'all money. They are over there frolicking on the taxpayer dime, and she's paying this man, according to what this news is reporting, over $100 extra an hour. An hour. Not a day, an hour. A billable hour.
Who is considered an expert in the field of racketeering cases.
She's trying to hide under the shield of her position.
The attorney for Wade's estranged wife, Joycelyn, wants to depose Willis in the still unresolved divorce case. But the DA's attorney fought back, saying the person with the answers would be Mr. Wade.
The plaintiff may have used marital funds for the trip, but every one of those issues involves the plaintiff's actions during the divorce.
The plaintiff may have used marital funds for the trip, but every one of those issues involves the plaintiff's actions during the divorce has nothing to do with Miss Willis. What you talking about, Willis?
Had nothing to do with Miss Willis.
Judge Henry Thompson agreed to stay the deposition scheduled for Tuesday. He'll make no final decision until he hears sworn testimony from Nathan Wade in a hearing later this month. Willis did not appear in court. Neither did the estranged wife.
She is devastated. This is not what she wants. She's not a villain in this tragedy, and she's not trying to be a hero.
Fani Willis, in her pleadings, suggested that you're, in a way, conspiring with Michael Roman and the Trump supporters to somehow delay or derail the case. What's your response to that?
My response is that's absurd.
So the timing is just a coincidence, you filing yours and Michael Roman's attorney filing her motion around the same time?
My answer to that question feels absurd. It literally was, but I don't know what to say because I don't think anybody's going to believe that.
Meanwhile, a Georgia state senator says he'll propose legislation to establish a special committee on investigations to examine the allegations surrounding Willis for the, quote, preservation of the integrity of our justice system.
We've seen in the news a number of reports that are concerning that if they're true, would be a significant breach of public trust and something that we believe the Senate has an interest in knowing about.
And I think that this should go all the way up until to the highest of the highs, because you cannot be spending taxpayer dollars promoting somebody to then prosecute somebody that you don't like in order to try to prevent them from continuing to be successful politically and have a special agenda behind it while also sucking and busting it down for another woman's husband while he taking you to the Caribbean and California to do so. and you overpaying them, which then leads to the speculation and the possibility that you guys are spending the money together. Who's to say? Who knows what those conversations were? Huh? Hey, I'm going to pay you an extra $100 an hour up to $650,000. And then you going to go ahead and buy it. You got them plane tickets? She ain't even got to ask. She know he going to go get it. This also begs the question of what was spent outside of the credit card statements that they found. How do we know what was spent where? Who, what, when, where, why, and how? I'm telling you, man, it stinks. It stinks. It stinks to the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, because usually when you uncover something, you only uncover a fraction of it. You don't really get to see the totality of it because he slipped. He made a quick mistake. He made one mistake, and his one mistake was making sure he put it on his credit card that was tied to the wife that eventually uncovered it, that then got us trying to figure out what the heck was going on. I don't trust her. I don't care how many pearls she wear. I don't care what sorority she's in. I don't care how many crop cuts she got and how many pantsuits she wear. I don't trust her. And when you don't have public trust in a public figure or a person that represents taxpayers that is using taxpayer money, you gotta ask them to step down. I think that there's going to be more pressure than ever to force her to step down, and she's waiting for this to go away. Listen. We got over 2,000 people in here watching this right now, right? Across multiple different platforms. I guarantee you that there's somebody, either her herself or her team or Mr. Wade, that is watching this. Let me talk to you directly, sir. Let me have a conversation with you. Fani and Nathan, it wasn't worth it. Whatever it was that y'all did in California and the Caribbean together on this work trip or this personal trip that you funded, it wasn't worth it. I know you watching. I know you paying attention. I know one of y'all are paying attention. It's a lot of y'all in here. For whatever reason, I got this sneaking suspicion. It's in the back of my mind. The God told me, he said, talk to him directly, Anton. Speak to him. I know you don't want to hear it because the devil is wrangling within you, and I don't know if you went to church that afternoon just to get it off or you asked for forgiveness before you jumped on the pulpit, but let me help you to understand something. The things that you've done on this earth, even if you get away with it, you're going to have to account for. You're going to have to account for it, and you can't just do what you want to do and think you can get away with it. Huh? You being a prosecutor or a part of the legal justice system and then benefiting from it by continuing to take these trips and be successful and assigning all of this money, you think that flies with people that's truly Christian? Listen, I don't care what black pastors put you on the pulpit. It don't fly with us because you're not a representation of what it is that you're advocating for. And your judgment has now become clouded based off of the fact that you've gotten some power. And now you can't tell right from wrong because you've been doing wrong for so long that you're starting to think that it's right. And that's what liars do. Liars believe the lie once they've been lying for so long because they've been getting away with it. And just because you haven't been held accountable for your actions don't mean that you're wrong. You wrong. I don't care how many pantsuits you wear, how many pearls you put on, and how many high heels you wear. You are wrong. You are wrong as two left shoes. And just because the people haven't legally found a way in order to hold you accountable, don't make you any less wrong. You wrong. You've been wrong. I don't care if he's separated. That still hurt his. Listen, it's the reason why you are a prosecutor. It's the reason why we do things the way that we do them. It's the reason why we do things the way that we do them. Listen, if this was back in the day when they was upholding and they was putting scarlet letters on these people, you will be at the front of the congregation. You and all of the people that enable you. I know you got some bad chicks in your circle that's saying, girl, don't listen to him. Listen to me. Listen to me. This is the Spirit of the Lord speaking directly to you, to your soul. You rotten to the core. Rotten to the core. The core of you. You could have got anything and you could have went out there and rocked out with anybody, but you decided to do it with the very person that you shouldn't have done it with. The person that was closest to you. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, it's important for us to develop character while we're also becoming successful, because a lack of discipline is going to get you jammed up. It's going to have your credit card statements being ran through by a red-headed white woman to hold you accountable, and you're going to have everything that you tried to do. It's going to fumble. It's going to fall. And you're going to be held accountable for it one way or another.